don't know if you can. There might be a way to. I mean, in theory, you could always set up a JavaScript one that when the form's submitted, grab stuff off. I'd imagine you could somehow. I haven't set it up. Good luck to you, sir. I guess typically when a form's submitted, I've got a place that it's going to anyways.
Right.
So I haven't thought of where I would put that at that point. So I don't have an answer on that.
But if it goes into analytics, then you could tie it with other things, right? So people
Yeah.
who come from this refer tend to fill out this form in this way, right? Or people from New York State fill out.
Well, I guess theoretically then you could even tie a user ID to an actual name if you were able to get, because you're looking at getting like the name and all that they fill out, right?
Yeah, or just like if you had different preferences in the form, like radio button.
Sounds like that might be very useful to get that.
Actually, you could, I'm going to say you probably could get the form text. Because form text is a option, so I don't know. Try it out. Have some fun. That's, I guess, how I'm going to answer that question.
Explore.
Yeah. Be googly.
Well, so if you go back to the root of the whole thing, analytics has tons of powerful things that most people don't know how to use because you have to augment the tracking code,
Yeah.
assign it variables, and give it logic. And
And
Tag Manager is
or
like a
help
GUI
you-
on top of that.
Yeah.
So if you explored anything, like have you compared this to anything similar like Segment.io? Yeah, Segment.io is a similar thing. It's
I don't think
install
I've-
one tracking code.
Okay, so it's just
tag
another tag manager, because I know
Yeah,
Adobe
it's-
has one.
But it's more about like including things and it's less powerful, but some of these are slower, faster on page load speed.
I haven't. I just kind of go with Google.
Yeah, but that's
I
what we
mean,
do.
I'm using analytics. I might as well
Yeah,
use their
that's what
product.
we do at Leaf Pages. But with this, have you noticed any increase in like page load time?
I haven't looked at the page load time.
Because we saw that with Segment. There's a downside to Segment is we were using Segment to pull in Google Analytics and noticing 800 to 1200 milliseconds.
I
So
know,
Segment
like
won't
one
go
of the
through
good
Segment.
things with this is since you can control, you can actually. That brings up another thing I can talk about. You can control like which page it exactly fires on. So if you only want one firing on, you know, the conversion page or the, I don't know, just any particular page, you can specify what page you would like that to fire on.
So you can tell it to load
Selecting
analytics on this
page.
page, but not on that page.
Yeah.
See, there's another downside. Like when we were using Segment, as opposed to this, we were using Intercom, another platform where you can pop messages up to the users, and it would load on our page, and then someone would open a modal that has an iframe of another one of our pages, and that same window would open in our modal windows as well and ruined everything. So with Segment, we didn't have the control to be able to tell it use these tags on this pages, but not on that page.
Yeah, so
That's
actually, this is a feature I haven't gotten to that I need to get to. Debugging, that is one that I think is awesome. So, since I have the Konami Code, yeah, we're gonna do that. Running, you can, so instead of just publishing it right away, there is preview and debug, or save as a new version. The debugging has gotten a lot better on it. So now when I load this website, there's this nice little, let me kind of move out of the way some. There's this nice little debugger down here. So as I was showing you the data layer earlier, it doesn't make you have to go into the console and be a programmer to do it. it gives you all that, and some things you can fire earlier, just like when the DOM's ready, I believe. So, you know, you can flip through as to when things are firing. If I randomly click over here, another thing will pop up down there. So when I clicked, it pulled more data into the data layer, sorry, actually. Being done, fun. That's better. So, and it also will show you all the different variables
Wow.
on that as well. So
That's
if
slick.
you know you want to get the click text, then you at least know what the click text would have been from that click. So like actually at one point, before I gave this talk the last time I gave it, when I gave it in Kansas City, I was up till 3 in the morning trying to figure out why something wasn't working, and it turns out since version 2 was in beta, that variable wasn't working. So it kept showing up as undefined, and I spent forever like undefined, and eventually gave up when I found a comment in a blog that if you guys are interested in Tag Manager, there's a GDE, well, I'm assuming you are since you're here, there's a Google developer expert that writes about Tag Manager all the time. The web address, if you guys want to write this down, it's simoahav.com. That's SIMOAHAVA.com. And that's where I've gotten most of the stuff I've done at this point, because that guy has an amazing backlog of stuff. So I'm gonna do the Konami Code trick and hope that I have the right stuff here. Is it up, down, down, left, right, A, B?
BA.
Is it BA?
Every start is BA.
And then select start.
Yeah, it's for 2-player. Select start on Contra. But
So up,
just start.
down, left, right, BA should have fired. Let's go with the tags. Oh, I forgot the BA part. Up, down, left, right, BA. Damn it. I swear it worked last time. It worked last night. Up, down, left, right, BA. There we
There
go.
you go.
So,
Wow.
and that should have, I believe, down here, flip that around. This is what I have that set up.
There you go.
That is on that web address I just gave you, actually. This is where I grabbed that from. And that, since I didn't segment the stuff out with a lookup table, there is now an event that fired, which was Konami Code. So yeah. I think I covered a good amount of stuff, and I hope I covered it well. Jeff has a question.
Alright, so this can track like all kinds of things, all these things that can track so many things. Is there any way to track just a little bit less so that you don't have people get as close to their line of uncomfortableness?
So you can just get page views?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just set up a simple, so,
Because I'm trying to think, brainstorm like, what in the world would I use a random number generator for? And maybe it would be like to put some random,
Yeah, if there's like a distribution that you pick
yeah,
from.
like to randomize some of the digits.
or if
something.
you want to have a random winner, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, when
Whatever.
someone comes to a page, if that random number generator ever hits, pick a
Yeah,
random
yeah,
number,
that
this
can-
guy can win.
Yeah, so can you do it if, like, you've got certain data? Like, So basically, like, if you got a number, like, if you got a counter that hits 1 million, you can trigger, like, your open 1 millionth visitor.
I think that might end up having to be more of a JavaScript.
Oh, okay.
Plus it ended up being the Google crawler anyway, so nobody would see it.
So you could just do a simple Google Analytics tag by going into the tags, which is where I meant to go at one point. Select an analytics. You're going to want to use universal analytics at this point. Put in your tracking ID in. Again, I suggest going in and keeping the tracking type of page view and fire on all pages, which is there by default.
So what you just did there is you were doing, instead of, if you use Google Analytics today, Google Analytics says put this on every page.
Yeah, well, typically you'll probably put it in a template.
Or in the template, okay.
Yeah.
But what you did here is,
Is a very simple use of Tag Manager
yeah,
that, I mean, if all you want to track is page views and just simply page views, you're probably just better off just sticking the analytics code in, because it's just a really small snippet. But if you want to do like the auto event tracking for the PDFs and events like that, I'd suggest going with Tag Manager.
so use that instead of the Google Analytics.
Yes.
Right.
But you would put analytics within that container. So
Say that again?
you would still have analytics going, but you want to be using the analytics tag. You would be using the Tag Manager tag and have all the other stuff within the container of Tag Manager. If that made sense.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
So is it kind of like, either you can use straight up Google Analytics,
Yeah.
or there's this box that has many more features that's Tag Manager, and in there, you can use analytics for some pages, doesn't have to be all, and you can also do all kinds of crazy, awesome stuff.
Yes.
But if you're gonna use one world, don't use the other world, use the Tag Manager world inside of there, tell it to do Google Analytics on some of the things? Like this? Like
If you want to do crazy awesome stuff as well, you're still gonna have to put.
I mean, are you gonna put only Tag Manager code, but including inside of that somehow analytics, or you're gonna put analytics code and Tag Manager code, and in the Tag Manager there is also analytics?
You would
Two
just put
analytics-
Tag Manager.
Just
And
there.
within Tag Manager, the analytics code is there.
Okay.
So if you put Tag Manager on there, then Analytics works, and
As long as you set up analytics on the web user interface of
we
Tag
actually do
Manager.
that.
So you've learned about a new Google product today,
Yes,
Googler.
thank you.
It's only been around for like 2 years.
Yeah, it's not that old.
I think it's about a year and a half, 2 years at least.
Yeah. I guess that's a long time.
But I think that's my time. I suggest you all do the DevFestMN survey. You can win 7-inch tablets. I hear there's Samsung ones. Just saying. If my talk sucks, I'd like to hear about it. So, I'll fill it out and tell myself I did all.
So do you have any, have you ever looked at all about how that, so, let me start over. You pulled up that like inspector panel for Tag Manager, the debug console for it, whatever.
The console one or the...
Not the one built in the browser, the Tag Manager.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the second one I showed.
Yeah, the one you dragged all the way to the top, that one.
Okay, alright.
So that looks like just a, HTML overlay that they put on there to show all the stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
How did you get that to fire off again? Like to open up?
So that actually, if you... Sorry, I can't scroll. Just click the little arrow and say preview and debug. And while it's in the preview and debug mode, when you open that website,
Okay.
it'll pull that up.
I was hoping that it wasn't like you hit you hit some URL or type in some code when you're on that page specifically
Nope.
because you don't want to load all that.
It essentially
debug
just,
stuff.
I believe, probably puts a cookie
Yep.
on your
Fire
computer,
something off when you, yeah.
and it does it only locally. But while you're in there, like I said, all of that will still show up in your analytics.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's my only
if you set up
concern
that
with
lookup
tag
table like I
yeah.
said earlier, but not shown how to do,
Yeah. My only
So-
concern with all of this tag manager stuff is just the payload or the overhead that it puts on a page. You know, Google Analytics alone adds some time to the page load.
yeah, I'm not totally sure what it does.
This tag manager, you put a code in, and then it pulls in other codes and puts them in dynamically. So.
I'm gonna unplug here, and we'll continue this
Sure,
conversation.
no, yeah, no problem.
Just so the next guys who I feel like are already standing out there
Thanks. Yep.
can get it. So, I hope I did well enough on this talk. I hope you all learned something today.
I learned something.
And just because you were at my talk, if you want to scan my badge, I'm actually letting it be known now that I'm one of the endpoints.
Did you just out yourself?
I did, but I won't be outed very long. Once I leave this room, I'm fooling it around again. Hey Lloyd, you want your...
Yes, I do.
Damn, I was gonna take it home.
Very cute.
I go through a few of the year.
I know.
I think it's a natural market model. Apple has.
Good job, man.
You said you wanted to talk something.
There's so much, man.
Yeah, I was looking up stuff on, as you were talking about.
So it turns out, where to find it?
Yeah, I imagine that one has usually
I've seen them.
JavaScript.
An Android application. Right, so I thought it was gonna be like an exercise in like the clustering.
So,
Google Glass.
like I said, I hope you guys learned something. I hope I didn't waste all of your time.
Our users are outside. I know that you can do a ton of services alone that like our own software.
Or drag and drop game using the mean stack. So
I had a
you throw in
feeling I would have
every
a
single
couple
item
of
code we have,
big
just go with
guys.
JavaScript.
How'd that guy? No, I know he is. That guy.
That's what they're doing. I got tight something. So. Who's in here next, Lloyd?
I don't know.
This room A or room B?
This is room B.
It's a mean stack.
Oh, no, we gotta get out.
Yeah,
No, we need to vacate now.
Yeah. Even now.
Why, what is it?
I gotta, like, stuff on the mean stack.
I like Angular.
Oh, yeah, I know what you think, but.
Yeah. I just don't know if I care to run the stack.
Well, I fired one up the other day to send somebody a file and it was quick to do that. Like I used it for something it wasn't really.
I used it to send a file. I'm pretty sure they have email for that.
Well, I was on a computer that didn't have Dropbox, but I happened to have the portable mean stack thing, so I just fired it up immediately. But yeah, I always thought that wrote things like something that would prevent people from using the mean stack. Yeah, I don't like it either. So, we were gonna talk to somebody to try to get on.
Yeah, cause
Like, I want to be one listed. We have an event code that we give to install our site. I want them to install, like, when they can tag manager, for there to say the new pages next to all the others.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
was asking about that.
Yeah, there is a form to fill out, I believe.
Like a partner thing?
Or what, yeah.
That's what I want to do. I need to find somebody.
Yeah,
Maybe we can give someone some money and bribe them.
yeah. Martin clearly, Martin will not know who to talk to.
Right, yeah, he has no idea.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's why I didn't even ask
Yeah,
him.
what's
I
that?
knew he would know. He didn't even know what tag manager was.
Yeah,
My buddy
like
thinks he
seriously.
works in the analytics department. I don't know if that's the same.
I think if they know people.
That's what I was gonna say. Surely he can get me to somebody.
Yeah, you've got a lot of those, oh yeah, I know this guy.
I do. I'm like a mafia guy.
I'm one of those guys too, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like someone was talking about guesswork the other day. I was like, oh, somebody didn't work saying guesswork. Like, how is that possible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know everybody.
Plus,
Lloyd, did I fulfill your requirements as a speaker?
Very great, Dan, thank you.
All right, you don't have to lie to me. That was pretty sarcastic.
No, you're handsome and charming, and you did a great job. What?
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah. It's actually useful.
No, it was good.
Everybody's gets real fancy with all these fancy database topics and stuff like that,
Right.
and nobody does awesome stuff like Tag Manager that's gonna save me hours of time.
Right?
Like real stuff?
Yeah.
And actually now there's an API.
Real
So I didn't even get into this, which again, there's an API now for Tag Manager.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, that's even better. If that's true, then that means someone doesn't have to go to the Tag Manager site to install our tag from link pages. We can just say, click this button and off, and
I'm pretty sure, yeah, there's some great stuff we can do.
they need to open up Google Analytics API better.
That's the, I want to go to all of them. I want to hear Baskin talk. I want to hear
You're gonna have to pick
Justin?
in one place.
what?
You can watch the video from our previous conference on Google.
This is why maybe next year I'll have a couple days worth. Fewer tracks and longer. Because I think Richard wants to work longer.
Special place for you, Senator.